Hello, hello, and welcome to this week's episode of The Hard Choice, Simple Steps for Showing Up. My name is Brad Draper. I am your host. I am grateful to be with you today. This topic that I have for you on my mind at hand, all the things, has been on my mind now for about a week that I've wanted to record this episode. And then my nephew asked if he can borrow my camera for a week. So here we go. We're recording it right now. And I'm so excited to share with you because it's a little bit of a breakthrough for me. I am a nerd, for those who don't know. I love science. I love physics. I love all things when it comes to the sciences and mathematics and analytics. That is what I do in our company. I do operations first and foremost, and second foremost, I guess, also first and foremost. I do analytics. I go through the numbers, see what matches, what doesn't match, what patterns I can find, and can I find patterns? Can I create patterns and find things that are analogous to each other and cause symmetry, cause association? And can this thing affect that thing even though they're not directly associated? That's my primary job. And I find it fun. I mean, last night was not fun. I threw headphones on and slaved through the spreadsheet, but I ultimately find when I come up to a conclusion, I find that to be fun. So my business partner is laughing last night saying, I'm so glad it's you and not me because that would split my head open looking at it. And I like to just disassemble the puzzle. I like to throw headphones in and kind of just get down on it, which is what I was doing last night at 8:30, whatever time it was. And that's kind of reality, right? That is how we operate. We don't have hours, specific hours we work. We work all hours. We don't have specific days. We work all days. And because of that, I was able to go to my son's parent-teacher conference. My wife was at work, and I got to go to my son's parent-teacher conference. That was the initial reason I left corporate in the first place, was so I can go to parent-teacher conference. I can go to the Halloween parties, the Christmas parties, the Valentine's Day parties at their schools. I can be the head coach. I just did all the coaching certifications for being the head coach for flag football. That starts in 2 weeks. That's why I left corporate, so I can do these things with my kids and create experiences, memories, and just have fun. How cool that is. And a little bit what I want to talk about today is somewhat in regard to that, but it's building momentum, which I've talked about before on more than one occasion. If you go back early on in the first few episodes, I talk about Big Mo and momentum and creating momentum. And once that steam train gets rolling, it takes a ton of energy to move it. And once it gets moving, it is very difficult to stop. That tons of energy to move, that has a name. That thing is known as inertia. And people use these two words synonymously more often than not. Inertia and momentum. Momentum equals velocity times force. Let's see. Nope. Mass times velocity. M times V. So momentum is mass times velocity. How heavy something is and how fast it's moving, that is the amount of momentum that it has. Inertia is quite a bit differently because inertia does not have a mathematical formula. Isn't that interesting? Did you know that? Did you know that inertia does not have a specific formula? It has a conditional formula. And that conditional formula will change based off said condition, hence it being a conditional formula. So you got momentum, mass times velocity. We learn momentum in business. We learn building momentum in your life, doing the things you said you'll do, making and keeping promises with yourself, building up this engine, this giant freight train of a life that just plows forward and is very difficult to stop once it's up to speed. That you build the momentum, you add mass, you add velocity, you stack things and make that momentum higher in your life. And this is energetic momentum. So you just keep on plowing through. It is very easy for me to get up in the morning like I did this morning at 4:45 to go do leg day, even though I went to bed around 11 o'clock and I was exceptionally tired. I still was able to get up out of bed very easily with no conversation get dressed, do my water. I drink 24 ounces immediately. Go do my meditation and prayers for 16 minutes in front of a red light. Go drink my pre workout, drive to the gym, and crush leg day. It was squat day for me. That is zero thought process because my momentum is so high in my morning routine. However, inertia. Inertia takes angular momentum, angular force, and all depends on which direction the force is being driven. The definition of inertia is the amount of energy it takes to change a situation, to change a moment. And a moment in physics is when something happens. The exact instance something happens is called a moment in time, a moment in energy, a moment of impact. It's when that thing takes place. So if you want change, if you weigh 100 kilograms and you're moving at 100 miles an hour, I weigh 100 kilograms and I tend to move at 100 miles an hour. If I want to change to 101 miles an hour, it will take a bit of inertia to increase speed or to change my rate at which I'm moving. If I want to decrease, that takes inertia. It takes a pull away from energy. So it's just a change or a delta or a differential of energy to change. In your life, you do what you do. You have your baseline. You have your baseline routines, baseline habits. And if you say, I don't have routines or habits, you do. It's the thing you're doing. It's just not orderly and it's full of entropy or chaos. Most of us tend to live in a world of entropy. And this entropic engagement is kind of where we thrive. But there is habits, rituals, routines in everything you do. If you try to change that, it requires inertia. It requires energy to cause change. This is why it is so difficult to change moment by moment. There is no definable calculation. Unlike momentum, which is mass times velocity, inertia is indescribable unless you're describing a specific situation at hand. Because of that, if I explain to you the inertia required for you to get out of bed in the morning because you don't normally do that at this specific time, I can say how I do it, but yours is different. Yours is different because it's undefinable. It will be situational to your situation. What gets you out of bed? What moves you out of the comfort of the sheets and the warmth of the bed and the cuddles if you have them? What gets you in the gym clothes? What gets you putting proper food in your mouth versus the sweets or the fats or the sugaries or the salties? To put the proper nutrition, proper macronutrition, proper fitness, proper mindset development, proper spirit set development, proper heart set development. All the different sets require developments. And if you need to increase or decrease, if you have too much fitness, which is a thing, if you're working out 3, 4, 5, 6 hours a day and you're not getting paid to do that like a professional athlete, well, then you probably are putting too much energy into your physical abilities and not enough into your mind or into your heart or into your spirit or into your work. To cast change, you need inertia, and that is only known by you. People can give you ideas, give you tricks, give you hacks, but unless you know yourself, you cannot create change. I haven't lately. I normally go to a lot of events. I haven't for the last 6 or 8 months because we are focused face down in what we're doing with our projects, with our companies. We're trying to lift 3 companies off the ground right now. That takes a ton of energy, a ton of time, and a ton of capital. So I haven't been going to any events. But when I go to these events, and especially when I went to a lot of events, there was a time where I was going to 2, 3, 4, 5 events a week. I would see the same people. And over the course of time, I would ask them how things are going, and they gave me the same answer. They never had change. They never were progressing down the road towards the path they wanted to be on. And I can never quite figure out why. You're in this space getting all these tips and tricks and tactics and skills, but they're not going home. One of my mentors calls these success zombies. People that go from seminar to seminar to seminar because they love the high of the seminar, but then subsequently do nothing with the information they're given. Or if they do, it's a firework. It's a bottle rocket. It's really fast and it blows up and it's done. Versus a locomotive that takes a little bit of time to warm up and you get moving. And then once you're moving, it's very, very hard to stop. There's actually a funny Jeff Foxworthy skit on bottle rockets versus locomotives, actually semi-trucks, but funny skit. You should check it out. I like comedy. I like laughing. I like life. I like fun. But inertia and momentum, figuring out the different types of inertia in your life. And that's going to change every day. What is needed to move the needle? What do you need to do? And how much energy do you need to put into something to cast change? If you are sitting stagnant in your chair, you need to cast change and have inertia to get out of your chair to go do something. If you are down on yourself because of the world we're in, the economy we're in, the political landscape we're in, all these different things, if you are finding struggle to move, build the inertia in something and just move. You need inertia as a precursor to momentum. If you don't start moving or you don't change what you're doing, there will be no momentum. And that's if you're in a standstill. But if you are moving forward at a fairly fast clip, you have high momentum, you're moving forward, high velocity, high mass, lots of momentum. If you stay at that exact number, you are remaining stagnant. And if you're remaining stagnant in the world of energetics, you're losing. Period. End of story. If you're not progressing, you're digressing. There is no status quo. There is no stagnation in this world. So if you're remaining status quo, hold the line, something will fall. Purely by nature. Holding momentum does not get you to the end zone. Progressing incrementally, day over day, that builds momentum. And that's not to say doing the same thing every day won't continue to build momentum, because it will. It's doing the same thing without changing any goals, changing any habits, and changing any rituals, changing where you're trying to go, ever increasing. I very rarely hit my goals because as I'm getting closer to my goals and I can see I'm going to hit it, my goal changes. My goals are a moving end zone. They're a moving target. Therefore, I never actually reach them. Isn't that interesting? So many people want to hit their goals and feel proud of themselves and feel awesome, whereas I just change the end zone. If I start getting close to it, I move it forward. I had a goal one time in my life to deadlift 500 pounds. And then as I was approaching 500 pounds, and I was like, oh, I'll hit it. I moved it to 525, and then I moved it to 550. Well, I hit 553 not too long ago. So what am I going to do? Keep progressing up or change direction, pivot to a different goal? Because at some point, I'm going to reach the physical capacity that my body can do. There is a physical ceiling when it comes to deadlifting weight. I can either get to that point or I can pivot and move somewhere else. But it's just relocation of energy. It's not hitting the goal per se. It's just moving, casting energy, causing inertia, building inertia, and transitioning that to momentum. That is what I have for you guys today. That's what I want to talk about. That's what I want you to think about. The momentum in your life and the inertia in your life it takes to change what you're doing. It's a fairly metaphysical, meta-mental as well, concept to wrap your brain around. I want you to listen to this episode a few times. I want you to think about it. I want you to ponder on it. I want you to talk to people about it. What are your thoughts? Talk to me about it. Find me on socials, Mr. Brad Draper. Share this episode with your friends and your family. Until next week, like this thing, subscribe to it, download it for future listenings. I love you guys. Bye.